Click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? Y'all know what time it is. The Nothing But Niners crew is back, man. We're here to review the 49ers versus the Cardinals game, man. And now you already know the deal. We got to go through the formalities. So let's go ahead and get that out the way. If this is your first time here, we want to thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. You want to also make sure you turn on your notifications so you know exactly when we're going live. You get your little alerts, especially for impromptu videos like the breaking news and things like that. Also, make sure you guys check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Those handles are Nothing But Niners. All right, it's spelled all the way out. We're going to have some big announcements coming there, little hint, little teaser there. So you guys make sure you check that out. You're going to be subscribed, especially on that Facebook page and Instagram pages, okay? Also, hit us up on Twitter and Snapchat. Those are Nothing But the number 9 ERS. Again, Nothing But 9 ERS. So give us a follow over there as well. Probably our most interactive way and direct way to get in touch with us. Make sure you guys are showing us some love over there. We show the love right back. I believe the Twitter page is a follow back 49er page. I'm not sure. I don't know if we're doing that anymore. I apologize. But make sure you guys give us a follow. We definitely interact. Okay, guys? If you forget everything I just said, no problem. Make sure you check out the website. It is www.nothingbutniners.com. Your one-stop shop for any and everything 49ers from us here at Nothing But Niners. You got articles, you got podcasts, you got the videos, you got a page just for you faithful out there. All right, you guys can send us your photos of you in your game day attire, your pets, your cars, your spouse. I don't care who it is. You can send us a picture of anything 49ers. If you have a rival that you are with, we're about to go up against the Packers. You and a Packers buddy, and you want to put him in a headlock or something, send me a picture. Send us a picture. You do that by sending it to the email. It is nbniners@nothingbutniners.com. Again, that is nbniners@nothingbutniners.com. Nick is the man. He gets those pictures. We get them from the email. Boom, we post them up there, and it's all right there. And speaking of Nick, I got my guy here with me today. Nick, what's going on, Playboy? What's up, big dog?
Bang, bang, Niner gang. What is cooking? Look, I can't wait to talk about this game tonight, man. Talk about this game after rewatching it, so it'll be interesting. We'll do this good, bad, ugly type of theme, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. And then last but certainly not least, at least for the moment anyway, my man Wayne. What's going on, Breezy?
Me mugging like a mug, cuz. Let's go. Let's get it cracking, baby. Little Gray. Yeah. Call me Gandalf the Gray.
Loving it, man. That's how you got to do it, man. That's that wisdom. You earned that. You earned those stripes. You know? So, guys, we're going to break this whole thing down here, man. The 49ers and Cardinals, man. The Niners ended up winning this game by 10 points. And at one point, they were down 16. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. And a lot happened in between. So we're here to break all that down. We're here to talk about it some more. And, I don't even know where you guys want to start. We're going to do this good, bad, and ugly type of thing. So let's start with the good, right? You guys can pick a spot. There's a lot of good. There was a lot of good from this game. There was some bad. There was some ugly. But there was a lot of good from this game. So let's go with the man in the middle. Nick, you can start us off with a good thing, and let's break it down.
All right, so obviously, and I won't touch on all the good things, but one of the main good things was obviously the win. So I'm not going to take that. But the way that these guys fought back, the overcoming the adversity of being down 16-0. So that's my first good. And then I'll let Wayne go. I don't want to take all the goods that I saw, and I don't want to cut off anybody else. So that's the first good thing that I saw.
Let's see. Me good. I'm gonna go with the quarterback play. I think under pressure, Jimmy G performed as great as a quarterback can perform. Not to touch on any of the ugly or the bad, but the offensive line didn't hold up as well to give him enough time to make better throws. Even with the 2 picks, I still think Jimmy G went out there and commanded the offense like a floor general, like a field general. He went out there and did it. And granted, he got us that, he let us down there to, seal the deal and get us that victory. So Jimmy G, 424 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's my guy. That was a great.
I got a lot to say on the Jimmy Garoppolo subject in particular. And let me just start by saying people got to stop hating on that quarterback. This guy can play, man. Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't know if it's like just a fad, if it's a trend, but it's got to stop. It has to stop. Jimmy Garoppolo is not a bad quarterback. And people are acting like he's some, 7-8 year savvy veteran because of the time he's been in the league. But that's not how it works. It's about play. It's about experience. And Jimmy Garoppolo is putting up some incredible numbers. I don't know if you guys want to stop and break it down now because we're on him, but I got some numbers here for our guy, right? I mean, all right, listen to this, right? Now, this is going to be in comparison to the rest of the league. All right, his completion percentage is 6th highest in the NFL, 68.6%. Yards per game, the 49ers are throwing 248 yards, is good for 17. His touchdown percentage of his throws, 8, he's 8th in the league, okay? And this is among all quarterbacks. Only 11th in sacks. As much as we think that he's getting hit and beat up on, there's a lot of teams doing a lot worse than what we are. Touchdowns at 18 on the season. He's tied for 4th. His interceptions, that's a bad, right? That's a knock. We know that he's got too many of those. He's on 10 for the season. Again, tied for 4th. Yards per attempt, 7.8. That's 10th in the league. This guy, and then his overall rating is a 97.7, and that is 13th in the NFL. He's in the top half of every category you want your quarterback to be in there. And the interceptions, for example, how many of them have come off of someone else's hands? You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much that when you put Jimmy Garoppolo's performances in the context, right? You add in the games where we ran for over 250 something yards. He's not going to throw for 250. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at Jimmy Garoppolo in context, this guy can do it. When they shut down the run game, these last 2 games, what did we run for? 120 yards in total. These last 2 games, we had 80 something in one and 30 something in the other. Jimmy Garoppolo has not only stepped up, he's performed well.
The last 3 weeks, Mike, just to touch on the rushing, is we've only rushed for 237 yards, 153 against the Panthers, 87 against Washington, and then 34 Seattle,
and then 34 against the Cardinals,
and 34 against the Cardinals. So and I wasn't counting this week. So the last 3 weeks before this week, it's probably a little bit more than that. It's 260 or 270 in 4 games, which we were averaging per game. So, it's crazy. But let's finish breaking down this Jimmy Garoppolo. I want to ask you a question though, because you said something about how many came off the receiver's hands. I saw you put out a tweet about that, but I wanted to ask you about it. What was the actual number that came off of receiver's hands out of his 10 interceptions?
Oh, I had that.
I know I seen 4, but I don't know if that's the actual number.
I can remember Bourne. I can remember Breida.
Dwelly in his last game. Breida in the Pittsburgh game. Didn't Bourne have 2 that tipped off his hands? Or
one was almost an intercepted, one wasn't.
Okay.
Oh no, wait. He did have 2 because he had one last game in Seattle. Breida had 1.
That was in Pittsburgh.
Dwelly.
That was this game.
Pettis had 1 before.
Pettis had 1, and I believe Goodwin had 1 also.
And Goodwin had 1, so that's 5.
5.
And I feel like Samuel did too, but I don't think it was intercepted because he fought to bat it down or something like that. So,
yeah, that's just interesting. Half of his interceptions are off of receivers' hands.
And he has 10. You said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's leading the league? Do we know like in interceptions? It's not Garoppolo.
It's Jameis Winston.
Winston.
I'll look it
He
up.
has 18. Jameis Winston has 18.
I know Jameis Winston is 1 turnover from having 100 total turnovers, and he's only played in 67 games. That's not so, and that's what I want. I want our fan base more than anybody. I could care less about the analysts and everybody that's going against the Jimmy G grain, but guys, this is our quarterback, man, and it's like you sometimes we make it seem like, oh, he throws a pick every game. So what? Like, I mean, he's still young, right? This is still the beginning. Technically, this is still even though he's old up there, 28 years old or whatever, he's still at the birth of his quarterbacking career, yo. He hasn't played. He's finally completed enough games to say he's played 1 full season under him. He's going to make mistakes. He's learning probably the most complex offense, I think this offense is probably more complex than the Patriots offense. And on top of that, he had to learn a whole new language coming over here in the trade. And he's freaking not struggling. He's not struggling. Mike said it earlier. He hasn't had to throw for 400 yards a game because the running game was working. The defense calls different schematic plays against the run game. They put 8 in the box. We can't run. Jimmy is showing you, hey man, you put 8 in the box if you want to. The past 3 games, Mike said we could not rush the ball. Past 3. Let's go. Arizona, Seattle, Arizona. We have struggled to run the ball. Even Kyle Shanahan said himself, hey man, that wasn't working. I had to switch it up. And he switched it up. He must have heard me and Nick talk about screens all week long because he started throwing screens. The first screen you watched, it was to our man Richie James. And then after that, it was Screen City. Why? They weren't stopping it. They couldn't figure it out. So those were some of Jimmy's chunk yards, man. You got what the type of quarterback. Every quarterback in the NFL is a guy that needs to get in rhythm. I don't know what quarterback doesn't need to get in the rhythm. If they want successful throws, they need to get in a rhythm. If we're going to talk about a little bit of the bad about Jimmy, the only thing I feel like he still does is he doesn't. I don't care about the deep passes and the underthrow. I know you guys say he underthrows the ball, whatever, cool, whatever. It's just that I sometimes feel I wish he could lead the receiver. Like I wish the ball could be more in front opposed to being a little behind, because I don't think that the 49ers have those skilled athletes other than Debo that can twist his body and make an athletic catch and still, even if it's behind him.
And Jeff Wilson Jr. Don't disrespect Jeff Wilson Jr.
I will not disrespect Mike's guy, Jeff Wilson Jr., who had to go up with the twist, catch it, secure it, and still run for 25 yards. That's athleticism. That's a skill set not everybody requires. How do I know? Well, Russ Dwelly couldn't make that catch. And I think sometimes Jimmy feels like if he throws it in front, and the guy doesn't get to it, it's an interception. If he throws it behind, at least my guy hopefully can tip it, knock it down, do something. But the ball tips in the air, tip drill city. Guys practice that, and those are some of his turnovers. We just talked about 5 of his turnovers. Sorry, Nick, go ahead. 5 of his turnovers are from deflections.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely correct. I mean, there are some blatantly bad throws.
Oh yeah.
And don't I don't want people to think that we're saying that, Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't make mistakes. But if you look at a lot of those mistakes, other than the one the other night, he blatantly just threw. I mean, I know Mike was looking to see if he was hit. I went back and studied and watched that, and he wasn't touched at all until after the ball was out. But no, I know you were asking during the game. But another guy that made a really, really athletic catch this year was Kyle Juszczyk on that long bomb on the wheel route when he dove out and made that catch. There are some guys on this team that will bail him out. I just think that, Jimmy would be a lot better if some of these passes that maybe they're not right to them or in that, but they're in that general vicinity. So if some of these guys go up and make a play, I mean, your quarterback's only as good as your receivers. That's receivers and running backs who are catching the football. And your quarterback's only as good as the receivers. If the receivers can catch the football and make you look good, then you're going to get the love from both ends. And right now, I think Jimmy takes a lot of the trash from people because of how bad the media has hyped him up, as in, what is Jimmy Garoppolo? Is Jimmy Garoppolo really this type of quarterback? We all know he's a gunslinger. But if you take away these numbers when the receivers aren't catching the football when they should be, that pass the other night by Jimmy to Debo showed you the concentration and focus that Debo had to catch that football. The ball was in front of the receiver. Go ahead, Mike.
Finish your point. I'm gonna jump in with something.
Right. The ball was in front of the in front of the defender. He reached his hands around, caught it, bounced out. His eyes literally followed the football from where they were up to where it was going and slowly concentrated and made the ball. Now, to be honest with you, if there wasn't pass interference called on that play, I don't think that would have been a rule to catch because he did come down out of bounds. He did not land in bounds. But we got lucky because it was an unreviewable play because of the fact that there was pass interference called on it. So either way, we got the catch because of the pass interference. But that just shows you the skill and concentration. And then you heard Debo say in a presser when they asked him about that catch, he says, you catch with your eyes and your hands. Without them both working properly, you're not going to catch a football. So go ahead, Mike.
And I was going to say, I think that was the second most impressive catch of the whole game. The one that I think was the best one, it was only a 3-yard reception. But it was, hold on. I wrote this all down. It was a Kendrick Bourne.
Oh, the one on the sideline, right past the picks.
I said most impressive catch of the game belonged to Bourne. Right before Jimmy's pick in the fourth quarter, he hit Bourne for a 3-yard gain on first down. I said the play broke down. Jimmy broke out of the pocket and rolled to his right. And he hit Bourne, who was getting low to help his QB out. The wherewithal of Bourne to go into that scramble drill and start coming back towards Jimmy on that play. And then to know exactly where he was on the sideline and get low and start dragging his lower body just so that way if he did get his hands on it, it's inbounds. Like you said, you don't think that Samuels came down with the ball inbounds, right? Bourne made sure that he got down inbounds with that ball, and it was all scramble drill. Jimmy moving out the pocket, and somebody was draped on Bourne, and he still got the ball. Jimmy, the throw was incredible. It really, really was, because if it was any higher or even going in front of him, if you tried to lead him, it's out of bounds. That's an incomplete pass. It was an incredible throw, an amazing catch. And again, this is what you guys knock on Bourne for all the time. You make the complicated catches look easy. And it's the easy ones that you pass up on. But this question here by Mark Espinoza, let's talk about this, and we're going to move on because this wasn't supposed to be a long show. So, should Jimmy G be in the MVP talks? Now, normally I would just bypass this, right? But I have never seen a team with a record like this and their quarterback isn't automatically thrown into these conversations. But it's not happening for Jimmy Garoppolo. Somebody explain this to me. I'm not saying he's deserving of it at all, but he's not even being talked about as an MVP candidate.
It's because of the league. All right. The league still believes that the 49ers are fake, right? They still don't believe that this team is 9-1. They still trying to compute and figure out how is this 49ers team 9-1. They still not giving Kyle Shanahan his props. I do hear a couple of guys do scream out he's coach of the year. I am hearing that, as it's going off the air to a commercial break, but never on live TV am I hearing him being the candidate for coach of the year. And no one's believing that this team is doing what they're actually doing week in and week out. Jimmy G's not going to get that recognition just because, it just comes with the territory of who the 49ers are, yo. And until, and this is why I get upset, not upset, but this is why I bring up every week, after every game, after every win, damn, the 49ers still going to be number 2 on the power rankings, still number 2 on the talks, still overshadowed, overlooked. And I know a lot of fans are like, nah, that's cool. Let them. I get it. I agree. But this is why I'm saying they won't be respected until they go out and take their wins. And hopefully this is the juice, the drive that the defense brings and comes out and plays every week. This is the drive that Jimmy G comes out there. Jimmy G smiles more than a clown at a kid's party, boy. That boy got a happy glow on his face. Matter of fact, he the white Bruce Leroy, cuz that dude is always glowing. And he goes out there. No one can say he's not tough. I watch my quarterback get rocking socked every week. Hold the ball to the last second. I know people are up there, well, how come Jimmy G passes, are always behind? Because he got mother freakers in his face. What you want to be? How can anyone be accurate if you got a guy coming right at you in your face? Sometimes they look good, sometimes they don't. But the reason why he's not in the talks, bro, is because the team is not respected, man. And that's the only logical answer I could come up with. Only logical answer.
And see, when I talk about MVP, I use it in the truest sense of the word. I don't talk about who has the best stats. You take that one player away from that team falls apart, right? I think the Niners will be okay without Jimmy, but they definitely ain't 9-1 at this point. There's no way they're 9-1. And that's why I don't mind people saying Russell Wilson is the MVP of that team, because you take him away, that team might get 2 or 3 wins. Like, I don't even question that. So I get it. I respect that. But I just want to know why Jimmy isn't in the talks. Wayne gave his reason. Nick, I want to know what your opinion is on it. Should Jimmy even be considered for this? Maybe the 49ers are playing the truest sense of team football. We've been talking about it all year here. We've been saying that this is the most complete team, defense, offense. They're doing it all together. When one is having a down game, the other one picks it up for them, and vice versa. We've seen the fight in all these guys on both sides of the ball. Maybe Jimmy Garoppolo isn't the MVP. Maybe this is just a really good, solid football team. What's your thoughts, Nick?
I don't think that he should be considered in MVP talks right now. And the reason that I think that is because we've only seen Jimmy Garoppolo really be that guy in 2 or 3 games this year. And now I know we're saying that without him we wouldn't be here, but really we haven't really utilized him to win the game for us other than 3 games. The Arizona game, the Seattle game he had a big game even though we lost, and then the other Arizona game. And what I mean by that is Jimmy's not a guy who's going to come out and throw for 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, day in, day out, like some of these quarterbacks are. Drew Brees, Dak Prescott lately, Russell Wilson, like you said, Russell Wilson, to me, if he's not on that team, that's maybe a 2-win team. Maybe, right? He does numbers for them. But Jimmy Garoppolo to me, and I understand we're 9-1 and he's the quarterback, he's the leader of the offense. But really what has been the MVP on this team was our run game for 6 games. And that really is what allowed us to win those first couple games. I mean, you look at it, if you look at quarterback play and nobody else around you or nobody else around on the team, yes, Jimmy Garoppolo threw a pass this weekend to win the game, and Jeff Wilson made a hell of a catch to help Jimmy Garoppolo out to win, but he also threw 2 picks in the red zone. I can probably, obviously the picks are on him. We just talked about 5, and maybe 5 are on the receivers. But right now, until Jimmy Garoppolo has to consistently do something, to me, a most valuable player is a person that puts the whole team on their back and they go and they win a game. Like, that's just to me. To me, you have to be the most valuable player on that team. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't the most valuable player on this team right now, in my opinion.
I get it. The only reason I disagree with that is because Jimmy wasn't doing because he didn't have to do. And I've been trying to make a difference.
Right, but we're talking about why he's not in the mentions. He hasn't had to do it, so he hasn't had that season to where people look at him and say he's an MVP.
So you're saying what you're saying is why they don't view him that way.
Right, that's why I'm saying, because it says should he be – the question was should he be in the MVP talks, but Jimmy Garoppolo really hasn't been in the talks of quarterbacks all year until the last 3 games as to where he's had to do something to win. So do I think that Jimmy Garoppolo could win an MVP here and there? Like, yes, but in being in the talks right now, there's guys that are doing it, day in, day out. Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott's coming along, Drew Brees.
That's because their teams don't have the defense and they don't have the offense,
exactly.
The run game that we have. But I will
them, even Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is making other guys better, as in Mark Ingram, that offense, like to start pushing him into that MVP talk, where Jimmy Garoppolo, we've only really seen 3 solid weeks of Jimmy Garoppolo because
consecutive weeks too.
Right, consecutive weeks. And now if he continues to play lights out, he may start getting in that MVP talk. But right now, my feeling on as to why he is he's not that guy as to reason we're 9-1 right now. And whether we take it as in he is or he isn't, he hasn't shown himself as a player that he should be in those talks right now.
To the outsiders.
Right, to the outsiders, to those conversations.
Because I believe Jimmy has been Jimmy every single week. I think when they ask him to make the throws, he makes the throws. But if the play is to hand it off and get a run for 8 yards, then that's what they're doing also.
Right.
But I think when they call his number,
he performs. He shows up. And So that's why I don't like. I get what you're saying about how they might view it, but that's kind of like contradicting, right? I mean, Dak Prescott. You're telling me week in and week out, Dak Prescott is showing up, right? Yet they're not producing. They're not producing as a winning team, right? But Jimmy G has showed up week in and week out. His stats might not be in the quarterback race for MVP what they are, but he's making the rest of the team better.
Yes,
like
sir.
If you said that the run game is what should have been the MVP for the first 6 weeks. Okay, well, these last 4 weeks, the run game has been motherfucking incognito. So if that's the case, then who stepped up? Well, your quarterback. They went out and got a weapon. Wide receivers started catching the ball. Matter of fact, we'd be undefeated. And we know we'd be undefeated. And the world knows we'll be undefeated. Matter of fact, that's the only good thing I've heard from every analyst other than the fact they on Russell Wilson's jock. They said that if the 49ers wide receivers could have caught those passes, they would have won that game. Then they go to the kicker. Like they see it. They see greatness in Jimmy G. They're just not ready to release that because they don't believe that this team should be where it is after going four.
We have to take this into consideration, and we can't be homers.
I'm
Jimmy
not.
Garoppolo has thrown for over 350 yards against the 31st and 32nd ranked pass defense.
No.
You have to.
I'm not. No, you don't have to because Tom Brady gets thrown the MVP conversation every year, and he's consistently got the weakest schedule in the end. No. We can't do that. How do we get to be biased against ourselves when no one else is biased against people? They don't work like that. Look at the schedule Tom Brady had.
And
Tom Brady's not being mentioned this year
because he ain't doing shit.
Because he's not balling. But my point, so Russell Wilson ain't played these same defenses, bro.
He hasn't played all the same. He's played some harder.
But he's played the same defenses, bro. The only team that he's played that we haven't played yet was the Saints, right? They played the Saints. Did they lose to the
Saints and the Ravens?
The Saints and the Ravens.
Right. And that's why I said we're still coming up on that.
But I'm okay with Jimmy G not being in the MVP race. I'm kosher with that. I'm super cool with that because I think it's keeping this team on a level-headed playing field, and they're going to continue to play the way that they're playing. This team I don't even think that's one of the team's goal. I don't even think that anybody on this player wants that. I think they really legit, they want to win the Super Bowl. Like that's what they want. That's what they want. But I'm not discrediting.
Now, I'll tell you what that I will put Jimmy Garoppolo in is comeback player of the year.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. That's super fair. That's super fair. That is.
I mean, personally, like we should have been thinking about that. We're 9-1. Like we should have been thinking about that when we were undefeated.
I wasn't even thinking about that award for the simple fact that I'm so excited to see Jimmy play. It's just like I totally forgot he was injured last season. You know what I'm saying? Like it just slipped my mind.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good comment right there.
But that's the thing too. Is like look at how much he's changed his. Man, all right. We have to move on. We absolutely have to because there's a lot more good to get to other than just Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Mike McGlinchey had a good game also. I'm going to run through a couple and then I'll stop and then we can switch it to the defensive side.
Oh, I can't wait to get to that Mike McGlinchey talk because I think he had a bad game.
No, Mike McGlinchey had a good game. Mike McGlinchey looked a lot better than he did the previous game.
I beg to defer.
Oh man, you got to go back and watch that film, bro.
I did.
Mike did not have a bad game at all.
My man was bull rushed like 50 times to the quarterback.
He didn't cause any sacks,
but pressures were in his face, like in Jimmy Garoppolo's face, and had messed up a lot of throws.
Most of the pressures were from the middle and from the left. I guarantee you, bro. I
can pull up 4 of them right now and show you. I'm gonna pull them up and send them to you.
Pull
and another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about watching that game is why is Mike McGlinchey the only guy that when we're going to pass is standing up. And when we run, he's down. Like you can easily tell when the offense is going to throw by the way Mike McGlinchey's standing.
Yeah, well, it's a different stance when you're pass blocking.
But everybody else is down, Mike, in a pass. Everybody else is down. Mike,
guys, anytime they snap the ball and they go to pass, they're upright and their backs are straight and they got their hands up. Mike McGlinchey's just tall on the end. You got to look at who he's next to.
I'm telling you, they were down in a lot. But that's all right. We'll talk about it. So we're going to goods right now.
I like McGlinchey this week. I think he had a much improved game from last week, so I have him in my good. The wide receivers, there were drops still. I'm not counting Goodwin and Pettis. I'm not. I'm sorry. Goodwin had that one catch, and then we went right back to him the very following play, and it literally just bounced off his chest. And I'm over him. But the guys held onto the ball this week. The guys look good. I love that they incorporated Richie James, even though it was just a one play. I love that Shanahan tapped the depths of this roster. Shanahan belongs in the good. We don't have a great category, but we have this good category. Kyle Shanahan and his game plan is exactly how I thought it was going to be. And not so much the play calling, but I said that we were going to see a masterclass from Shanahan, that it was going to start rough the first couple of drives, and it's exactly how it played out. I said, the first couple of drives are going to be bad, but that's him setting things up. He hit him with the screen. He didn't throw a screen pass the entire first quarter. I don't even know if he threw one the first half. I don't even know if it happened in the first half. You know what I'm saying? But he when he finally did, it went crazy. Actually, Richie James wasn't the first.
It happened in the first half. It was
in the second quarter.
Like 6 minutes in the second. With 6 minutes left in the second quarter.
Yeah, and so he just caught him completely off guard. I would say, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would say 75% of the plays before that were all to the right. Mike McGlinchey side, just going to the right of the offense, right? And then you hit him with that. They snap the ball. The entire defense goes that way, and he throws a screen to the left. He was setting it up the whole – bro, Shanahan is nuts, man. And then you do it with a guy who hasn't been targeted in 2 weeks in Richie James.
It was a misdirection screen, guys. It was like, guys, it was like a beauty. It was so beautiful. The way it opened up, it was just so beautiful. Matter of fact, Richie James looked. I don't care what y'all say about Richie James. I think he's just horrible on kickoff returns and stuff. But when it comes to running the ball, that dude was trying to score. If you watch that play, I think he ran into the back of somebody else. They wouldn't get out the way, whatever like that. So he just went out of bounds. That play, I don't know if we'll ever see that play again. I don't care if we ever see it again. It'll be something different. I can promise you that. But that play shook us all up. It shook the whole world. Remember, we were still down 16. We were down by 16 points too. So that play made us felt like we weren't down by 16 points. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to say. That one play, we were down 16-0. That one play made us feel like we were down by like a field goal. We were about to come and take the lead, because that's exactly what we did after that play.
Yeah, it was an immediate offensive spark, man. And not just the offense, the defense that looked gassed before that. Those boys came out fired up. You know what I'm saying? So it was, because you got to remember that it was 16-0. We scored 17 unanswered points. We just kept coming. So there was a Richie James thing. Kyle Shanahan incorporating players that he had not used up until that point. Kyle Juszczyk got thrown back in there after that that Richie James play. The play calling the entire game was really good for Kyle Shanahan. There were some things that I questioned, but it's all good. It worked out for us. And then there's the defense. We got to talk about the defense, and we got to move on to the bad stuff, because I see we've already been going for 33 minutes. Nick, I don't know if you're gonna hit your 45, bro. But
I don't care. You're the one that has to get up early.
Yeah, I know. But I want to ask you guys about the defense. So, was there anything else before we move on from the offense?
For good?
Yeah, for good. Just for the good.
All undrafted guys who scored.
Yeah.
It's all undrafted guys.
Born in dwelling.
Coleman didn't get in the end zone?
Who?
Coleman.
No.
I told you he was going to be a bum that game. I told you.
Wally scored twice. Kendrick Bourne and Jeff Wilson Jr.
Let's go. Oh.
Other than the defensive touchdown at the end.
Right.
But
that was DJ Reed.
That was DJ Reed Jr., which wasn't – I don't think he was drafted either.
No, he was. I feel like Reed was drafted. I can't remember now. But I do want to say another person on the offensive line, our center, Weston Richburg.
Weston's played his ass off, man.
But those were BS penalties, bro.
He had a couple of bad things happen, like in pass pro. But on those screenplays in particular, my man was literally giving me goosebumps. Watching Weston Richburg run 40 yards downfield after making contact with 3 people prior, still looking for somebody to hit. Come on, man.
You know what he reminded me of watching the tape on him was the water boy. He literally would hit somebody, then go downfield, like, and then just run downfield and just hit somebody else. And that's what it reminded me of when Waterboy was running down the sideline, like, follow me. Like,
and
just
his
destroying.
head was on a swivel, just looking for contact the entire time. All right, I've done a lot of talking. I'm going to give it to you guys. Let's talk about this defense because I know y'all got some of this defense in the good, man. So, Nick and then Wayne, go ahead.
All right, so defensively, I thought there was some good and I thought there was some bad. The bad to me was sometimes of how we schemed. We move our – like I seen 2 or 3 plays where we're set up as a 4-man front with 2 guys as the 1 tech, the 3 tech, and then the outside guys, right, on the 4s. And just obviously it was when they spread us out. So they brought 4 out. So now we have 2 linebackers that are out, and Fred Warner stayed in the middle. But Fred Warner, on a couple plays, the linemen would switch and they'd come further out. So now you have the center and the 2 guards with nobody in front of them, completely in front of them. They're both the 1 and the 3 technique are on both outside shoulders. And the hole, and then Fred Warner would vacate his hole and go to the left or right for the screen. And the middle of the field was wide open for Kyler to just take off.
Well, they only did that when they had no backs in the backfield. They didn't do that when there was a back there.
Right. Correct.
Empty sets.
But I don't like the scheme setup for that with a running quarterback because you left that room for them.
You left that
so
whole
literally, if the read's not there, he's getting 20 yards.
That's kind of what it looked like when Russell Wilson did the junk. It was almost the same.
And that's what I'm saying. The bad is in the scheme because why did we have to? It was a shift. Like Fred Warner literally shifted the down linemen and moved them out more. And then the defensive ends are on the outside shoulders. The defensive tackles move from the inside shoulders to the outside shoulders. And then Fred Warner would vacate the area. He'd come up like he was going to blitz, and then he'd vacate and just go to the right or the left.
Right.
And the hole was, we were allowing the double teams to hit our inside guys and push everything out. And the holes were just massive. And if we do something like that with another running quarterback and they see it on tape, the guy could run for a long way. But
yeah, I think part of that, and Nick, is personnel. I think the fact that we're missing, Quan, it kind of changed up some stuff a little bit, and I think it's just a learning and a growing process. I think it gets better. I think it just gets better over time. Come that Ravens game, it should be well more adjusted. I felt like the defense adjusted better to Kyler Murray because they played him before, opposed to the way they handled Russell Wilson. I felt like they knew Russell was going to be Russell, but he really wasn't Russell until he had to be Russell. They were able to contain him for the most of the game, whereas they know Kyler Murray. They've seen him before. I thought they played him rather decent. I know he chunked up 67 yards. If I had to pick a strength on the defense, it would definitely be and I know they got penalized. Well, one person got penalized a couple of times, but I thought the secondary played really well. In this game. I thought Mosley balled out. I thought when Keller came in, he did what he had to do coming in off, first time back in a few weeks. So I know our line is the strength, but I am impressed by the secondary, man. Jimmy Ward, I think he had a one bonehead play, then he made up for it on the next play. These guys are balling. That secondary is something lethal, man. They're gonna talk about it. I know the picks are down. We haven't got a lot of picks, and it's because teams aren't passing. And they're not passing against us. Go ahead, Mike.
131 passing yards, bro. That's it. In today's NFL, and we played a team that likes to run 3, 4, and 5 wide receiver sets, bro.
That's blowing my mind right now.
Come on, man. This defense is good. They're better than good, man. We are looking at a great defense right here, fellas. This defense is really, really nice.
The thing that throws us from not being number one is our rush defense. That's really what throws us from.
I didn't want to agree with you when you said that pregame, but now I think they still hold the running back down, but they still give up chunk plays, and I have no choice but to agree with you. It's like I want to punch myself in the stomach because they give up 1 minute they stop the running back for 2 yards, then the next minute he runs for 17 to 20 yards. And I'm just like, this can't happen. And that is, I think, our weakness, like you said, Nick.
Well, and if you go back to what Nick Bosa said, just real quick, is Nick Bosa said, we just can't figure their run game out, but we can figure it out before next year. That's what he said. He literally said that. Like, we don't need to figure it out now. We'll figure it out before we play them again next year. And it's like he honestly admitted that they just couldn't figure out the run game with them. Like, and there was some times where the misdirection, and that's literally how you beat front fours. But we're talking about the good right now, so I don't want to get into all that. But yeah, I mean, the defense, just the adversity from this team, defensively, but I'm gonna give one player, and I'm gonna say DeMontre Moore, and I got to. He had the one big play he was held on that wasn't called. He was literally tackled to the ground, which called an incomplete pass, which ended up being an incomplete pass. He had the hustle from the line and rushing back to where the receiver caught the football, causing a fumble, which was a very crucial point in the game. And when you make crucial points or crucial plays and crucial points at the game, look, to me, that was a good. And also the emotion. This guy said that he's been talking to Chris Kocurek since he left here every week. Every week. And, this just shows how much this team is involved with each other, man. Like,
it also shows hunger. It shows I want to be mature. I want to grow. I want to be better. I know I'm not rocking with y'all, but if you need me, if you ever need me, text me, call me, two-way me, beat me. I'm here. I'll be there. The moment that Ronald Blair went out with the injury, the moment they got done DeMontre Moore on the phone to get out to California, he was ghost. He was Audi 5000. That cat took off. I don't even think his sister knew how to get in touch with him. That brother was gone running because his passion, his heart, we saw it.
Did you hear his post-game presser? Well, not, it wasn't a presser, but him at the lockers.
No.
Yeah. Completely different man. Completely different man. Not player, not any different man. Listen, it sounded like he was holding back tears, bro.
Yeah, he was really emotional.
It was moving.
He's like, I'm 28 years old. I've been in the league for 7 years. I thought my journey was over. I'm thankful for the Niners bringing me in and believing in me. I've talked to Chris Kocurek since I left here, and they just kept telling me that my place will come, blah, blah, blah. I was ready to give up on my career.
I'm about to tear up, yo.
I was just coming off of that injury.
Yeah. He was like, I just want to thank God. I want to thank the 49ers organization to allow me to make this type of play for my brothers here in this game.
I love my family. I love my brothers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was really emotional. You could tell that he's excited to be there, and it's not just a job. And those are the kind of people that this organization likes. They are. It shows that.
You're right, man.
Somebody who's about everybody else on this team and not about themselves.
You're right,
and
bro.
If you go back and you look at what DeMontre Moore was before, right, Mike? We've talked about this. It was like, you heard things about scuffles in locker rooms and things like that. He has made 360, I would say, 360-degree turn. Well, I won't say 360 because that'll put you right where you were.
Yeah, 180. I got you.
But yeah, I'm happy for this dude, man, and he even did him, Eric Armstead, and DeForest Buckner did Ronald Blair's sack celebration. Yep.
That they're paying homage to people. Bro, he wasn't even in the building when Blair was here during the season. That's some preseason stuff.
He was talking to some lady with a hangnail.
Bro, that's how strong this bond was, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the bond was so strong during preseason that DeMontre Moore is doing Blair's sack celebration. It's a brotherhood, man. You can't beat that.
Cats be wanting to know why I'm so amped and I'm so emotional. It's because this is tight. I don't know who that was.
Wait, what the heck was that?
I was about to give this serious ass speech about brotherhood and the journey, and this dude got a Ice Cream Man song pop up on his cell phone. I hope he's okay though.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yo, like I'm legit like listening to you guys talk, and I'm like tearing up, yo. It's like there's a connection to this brotherhood, bro, and this journey that they're on right now is something super serious, yo. I can't explain it. I felt like I've been on a journey like this, like, you know, just growing up, being in the Cub Scouts to the Boy Scouts. You work with one another, yo. Then you get your workforce, you got your boys, you got your brotherhood. It's one of those things. For this man to be that connected to a defensive line that's not even on the team, there's nothing. What more can we say? This is why down 16-0, a cat'll make a play. This is why down 16-0, you know, your quarterback comes out there and says, you know what, guys, don't trip. We got this. My grandmama gave me that chain. I'm going to throw it to Debo. This is why they play. They're playing for one another. We keep saying this week in, week out. I know it's corny. I know it's a whack narrative. I get it, but it's real. It's 100% authentic. Go for the NFL 100. I like to use that number. It's so authentic that there's nothing. The team lost a heartbreaking game to probably the biggest division rival since God knows when. Them cats ain't even cry, cuz. Them cats went out and said, yo, we go.
You know, we've been saying it, you know, I know I've been on this train. We've been saying it here at MBN for pretty much the whole year, that there's just a different vibe. This team is like, they've learned how to lose together. Now they're learning how to win together. Now that they got that winning blood in them, it's like they'll do anything for anybody. There's no clicks, right? So like you see the defenders come over and talk to Jimmy Garoppolo. You see Jimmy Garoppolo go over and talk to defenders. You see Kyle Juszczyk go and talk to defenders. You see defenders come and talk to the offensive side. Usually, dude, on a football team, it's like the defense, the special teams. You know, obviously special teams is mixed in amongst both. But then you have, you know, your offense, your receivers and stuff sit together. Dude, I see guys like Richie James sitting next to Nick Bosa, like, and they're talking and they're just, you know, dilly-dallying or whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, I mean, it's a true brotherhood. And you win together, you lose together. And, you know, these last 2 weeks, I think, have really made that stronger, that bond stronger, whether it be a loss, a win. I think the loss in Seattle really, I said it earlier on another show before. I think that loss is really a self-reflection to each other. And how do we make this team better? And, you know,
that loss was a blessing in disguise.
It really was.
Yeah. And that was my supervisor. I apologize. She's a goofy lady, so she has a goofy ringtone. So my bad, folks.
Ice cream. We all scream for ice cream.
Yeah, I usually turn off my ringtone, my ringer when I'm sitting here, but I wasn't expecting nobody to call me. So it was business though. My bad. But yeah, I heard what y'all were saying, man. A brotherhood, for real. That is it, man. Like that's all it is. So are we on good? Are we still on bad? What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, if we still have goods,
are you there's a ton of good stuff.
I don't think Mike, you gave your good about the defense. No, Nick.
Well, no, Dre Greenlaw was with the defensive line. I really like what we're doing for the people who are playing instead of people. You know what I'm saying? The depth. This team is being tested, man, and they are answering the bell every single time. Every time. I like this, man. I like. I know it wasn't probably popular in the locker room. I like seeing Richard Sherman and Akello Witherspoon line up as defensive linemen on that last play. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't have any defensive linemen on that last play at all. They put all DBs out there on the field.
Oh, I thought it was Akello, Marcel Harris, and
I thought that was Sherman out there. I saw somebody.
I think it was Marcel Harris.
Oh.
It was Marcel Harris, and Sherman was still on the outside.
Yeah, either I know Akello was down there, and I know somebody with Dredge.
It's right? The Dredge, yeah. I think it was Marcel Harris. I think Marcel Harris, Akello Witherspoon were the two guys on the line.
And then seeing them after they got the touchdown, that crazy, all the lateral, right? Fumble, the ball pops out. Seeing those boys take off their helmets in the end zone and take their pictures, looking at the smile on Akello Witherspoon's face, right? His first game back. Well, he was healthy last week, but they didn't do anything with him. But his first action since his injury, and look at what he's doing.
Facts.
This locker room is tight. I'm telling you guys, listen, you can out scheme some teams, right? You can have better athletes than some teams. You can't beat an entire locker room. You can't do it. You can't do it, man. And these boys are unified. Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans, y'all don't want it. I'm telling you, these teams don't want it. So let me get off of the good. Because everything wasn't.
I got to give Breezy a shout out though, because he called Kyle Juszczyk to have a good game, and that dude balled out.
Yes, he did, yo. Yes, he did.
It's a big shout to Wayne.
How do we not mention Dwelly? How do we go through the good?
Well, I still had some goods. I said, you got any goods? And you said, we're to move on. So let's move on. But good, obviously.
Before we move from the defense.
We got Dwelly. We got Debo. We didn't mention him neither. He had a hell of a game.
No, Nick showed him some love.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. Like
Debo real quick before you move on. Debo has 20 less yards than Michael Thomas the last 2 weeks in receiving yards.
Guess who we play in 2 weeks? 3 weeks. Excuse me. Oh.
Now that's only the last 2 weeks, but he's up there with Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas has 246 yards receiving in the last 2 games. Debo has 226.
You want to know how I know we're going to win that game? Because the faithful know how to travel, baby.
Because I'll be there. We better win that game.
Did I just call it? The faithful? Yo, when we travel, the fans will be scared, cuz.
That's the biggest takeover this year, too. So hopefully there's a lot of faithful.
And I think out of all 3 of these teams we playing coming up, I think the 49ers want to beat the Saints more than anybody, bro. I don't know what it is, but it's something about the Saints, bro.
I think the fans want that win the most.
That's what I mean.
I think Shanahan wants that Packers game. I think Shanahan felt like I think he feels his quarterback, CJ Beathard, was supposed to beat them that year. And we lost that game.
This is payback, baby.
Oh, yeah.
This is redemption. Okay.
There's a lot of things to look at. Last year's game against the Packers, how we should have won that game and threw the pick. And obviously that was a player going down and we got destroyed on. And then with Mike LaFleur being there.
Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, Matt is there. And Mike, his brother, is here. So that'll be an interesting thing.
There's one more too. Their defensive coordinator was with Shanahan while he was the offensive coordinator in Cleveland. You got
Perini or whatever his name is.
Mike Pettin.
Pettin, that's it.
It's all one big we back. Everybody knows everybody. We know their offense. They know our offense. We know their defense. They know our defense. It's gonna be about grit. This game is
Mike, you better bring that dub home, bro.
Come on, man. Listen. If I got to run out there on the field, I'm playing. I don't want to get revoked before I even.
I don't want you to get arrested, bro.
I was just joking.
This game is about to be huge.
I've only been arrested at one game in my entire life. It's not happening in San Francisco. I can't afford their bail money. So,
while we're talking about goods with Ross Dwelly, man, I know we've seen Ross Dwelly on the field with George Kittle this year, right? But man, just think of this duo coming back together. Like moving forward. As much confidence as Ross Dwelly has gained, not that he wasn't confident before, but obviously your first career touchdown, you score another touchdown, you've been having good games, you've been playing as a fullback, executing that way. The confidence that he's just building as a young, undrafted guy. And then to be behind George Kittle. Look, people started sticking George Kittle on 2 tight end sets. Ross Dwelly's been proven that he can catch. And he doesn't get a lot of yards after catch, obviously.
You don't need to.
He catches the crucial passes.
Yeah, his rack is slow. But he got hands.
All right. Let's keep going because I got some stuff to say about the Packers game. And I'm not. You know what? You know the worst part about this whole Packers game? I don't know if I'm gonna be around or available.
I'm not. And
Yeah,
then
I don't know if I'm gonna be available to do any of the preview shows and all that because I'm gonna be out there by then. And I don't know. You know, like that's oh man, it sucks. I got so much to say about that game, but all right.
You lost the 8:30 game. You should be able to do one earlier in the day.
It's 5 o'clock there though. Like, all right, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
If not,
I'm gonna try. You know me. I'm gonna try to jump in. You know me. I'm gonna have my son with me and everything. We're gonna be lit out there, baby. Let's go. All right. I'm sorry.
Do grown men even say lit anymore? Oh,
I don't care. Oh, you know me. Come on, man. You know how I get down.
No, I was joking. I say lit all the time.
I'm old. I'm corny. That's what I do. I'm not the cool guy. Don't worry. You ain't got to worry about that. We got a cool Mike in the group. It's not me. I promise you, it's not me. Listen, let's talk about the bad, man, because it was not all good things in this game. Let me just quickly say Jimmy Garoppolo's interceptions. This guy stares somebody dead in their face and throws the ball right at him, and it's not on our team. I don't know why he does this every single game. And I know it's not every game. All right, I know it's not every game, but damn if it don't feel like it. It's like crucial. It's usually early in the games. This was the latest I ever saw Jimmy make that kind of throw. It's usually like the first or second drive. Here comes the Jimmy Garoppolo turnover. He gets it out of his system, and then he's good to go. It just wasn't the case this time. It was crucial moments. Thank God our defense is as good as they are, and they were able to hold down the fort, get the ball back for us. But, man, he tried to end that game for us. You know what I'm saying? Where last week it was the wide receivers were trying to lose the game for us, and they succeeded. It was Jimmy this week. I'm like, come on, like you can't make that throw. So Jimmy Garoppolo on the offense was a bad one. I still think the pass protection is bad. The run game was absolutely horrible. I'm gonna stop here because I feel like this should be important to a lot of us. What the hell is going on with this run game these last couple of weeks? We went from leading the league
to not even being talked about
to 34 yards in a game. Is it Matt Breida? Like, what's the deal? Come on, fella. The floor is yours. Like, let's talk about this, man. Because this is worse. You know what? That probably belongs in the ugly, don't it? I shouldn't even be talking about that right now.
I think that's an ugly. That's not a. That's beyond bad. That's beyond bad. I think the bad was the Jimmy G the throw. That one throw was the worst throw I think Jimmy G's thrown all year. And here's why. He threw right to the linebacker. Right to him. The linebacker just sat there and didn't have to move. He didn't move. It was just like, oh, I got hands, bam. And he almost tried to return it. And so it was like that could have really killed us. I don't know what processes in Jimmy G's head. I don't know if he's set on, hey, I need to get at the ball. That was going to be the Sanders, wasn't it? That was going to be the man.
No, it was late in the game. It was a fourth.
Who was that ball going to be to? It was a wide receiver. I think because Sanders played the majority of the game. He just came out. He didn't play pretty much the whole second half. Okay, so then I don't know who that ball was to. It wasn't Debo. It was
what ball are we talking about?
The one Jimmy G threw directly to that linebacker. But the wide receiver, I thought it was Sanders. So go back and watch that.
No, it wasn't Sanders because he didn't come back in at that.
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
It was at the end of the game. It was the second to last drive. I don't think Sanders was back in. I know they showed Sanders on the sideline without his helmet. When
I thought it was Sanders, guys. I thought it was Sanders. Out. It could have been Bourne though.
No. What I was gonna say was Bourne made that reception I was talking about on the sideline, right?
Yes.
And then, like a play or two later, was when Jimmy turned the ball over.
I'm gonna tell you who it was in a second.
But when they showed Bourne, when Bourne made that play, they showed Sanders just standing there on the sideline with his helmet off.
I really think
I didn't think he went back in there. I'm not sure who it was though. That's a good point because I remember looking. Because it was like left, and the dude was flat-footed.
It was flat-footed. It was like Sanders was running out to the side. I thought whoever the receiver was, was running the route, and if Jimmy would have just threw it to the side, it would have threw the linebacker. The linebacker would have been.
It was Jimmy Garoppolo pass deep right intended for Ross Dwelly, intercepted by Jay Thompson.
It was Dwelly then. Okay.
Yeah.
No. Because the throw was to the left.
It was 3rd and 7 at 4:41 left in the game. I have the play right here in front of me.
But he threw it to the left. Why they say deep right? He threw that ball to the left. The defender was standing to the left of the offense.
Oh, that's the Ross Dwelly interception that went off his hand, Nick. That's the wrong play.
No, but Nick said it was 4 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, but that's the wrong play. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. That one was to the right. The one that Dwelly tipped because it was a little bit behind him.
Okay.
So then we're looking at longer.
Yeah, there was before that. That's what I'm saying. It was before that. I'm telling you, Sanders was in the game.
I can visualize the play. I just don't know who the target was. And I don't know if Sanders was back in the game. That makes me really excited for this week coming, because that means we get Kittle and Sanders back. Y'all didn't hear that from me though. Wait for the breaking news.
This was like at the beginning of the fourth. I thought he was playing. I think this is when he came out. I think this because he had got hit on the play, and then I think this is when he came out. I could be wrong. I'm not trying to be right. I'm just saying. All he had to do was throw that shit stuff the ball to the outside, because that's what Sanders was running. And we threw it inside. Like maybe there was a miscommunication. Because Sanders didn't break. The receiver didn't break in. This receiver broke out. Everybody on the thing saying,
I really hope that wasn't Sanders, because that would make me pause a little bit, because Jimmy and Sanders have this rapport.
But I felt like the reason why I think it was Sanders, Mike, is because I felt like he was trying to force it to him.
Yeah,
that's why, and
possible.
that's his guy. It was on a 3rd down. He wanted to get that ball to Sanders.
They're in the 4th quarter.
It might not have been in the 4th. It might have been in the.
No, that turnover was.
We had 2 picks in the 4th. That's what you're saying to me?
I thought the game was over when he threw that pick.
It might have been the 3rd, because the 4th quarter one is the one off of Dwelly's hand.
I'm telling you, it was in that 3rd quarter, brothers. It was early, because we were still up by 1, and the defense held them, and we still had the lead afterwards.
Okay, so it was in scoring position.
It was in scoring. We was about to score. We was about to go up 24
look, people
to
yelling
16.
People getting tight. It was Sanders.
I don't think it was Sanders.
I'm telling you, it was Sanders. He was running, and he cut to the left, and Jimmy threw it to the right, where the goddamn linebacker was. Wayne is right.
So while y'all look that up, let me just run down some more of my badge real quick while you look that up, and then when you find it, just flag me down. All right, man.
It was to Sanders. It was 5:32 left. It was 3rd and 5 at the Arizona's 12, with 5:32 left in the 3rd quarter.
We were about to go at 24-16. Baby.
Jimmy Garoppolo passed short left, intended for E. Sanders, intercepted by Jordan Hicks at the Arizona 5.
Yeah,
Hicks to San Francisco 47 for 48 yards.
It was definitely the Hicks. I do know that. So yeah, that's the one.
So it was 3rd with 5 minutes and 32 seconds left in the game.
I was right. Y'all owe me a hoodie.
In the game or in the 3rd quarter?
Huh? 5:32 left in the 3rd quarter.
That was in the 3rd. And then the 2nd pick, that's when we all got deflated and was like, well, good game.
Yeah, for sure.
And the defense held them again.
Yeah. Hey, what was bad about the defense this game? And I can't even say the running game, because it was only 130 something yards rushing. So what was bad about the run? 153 yards maybe. What was bad about the defense this game? What would y'all have changed about the defense if you could change anything?
They just gave too many points.
I'm gonna say it again, and I know this kid's a rookie.
Points.
I know this kid is a rookie, but we got to keep on running quarterbacks. We have to be able to not bite on the fake and contain the quarterback.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa bites hard.
Yeah.
Hard. And I know he'll learn.
I think that's coaching, but go ahead. You finish. I think that's coaching, though. I know what you're going to say, but I think I know what you're going to say. But
so then we'll give it the bad to coaching, because it's happened against Russell Wilson and it happens against Kyler Murray. On those type of quarterbacks, you need to go straight up field.
Can I ask a question, though? Why is that the coach's fault?
Because
they're coaching him to go inside and get to the quarterback.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
They're coached to play the pass on the way to play the run on the way to the pass. So you're supposed to be going right for the quarterback.
But if I know he's a rookie, right? But if he's supposed to be this great player, he doesn't have the the scouting report on the on the quarterback. Oh, this guy, if he does this, he's probably going to take off and run. Nick, when you said Nick Bosa bit hard, there was that one play where they faked the handoff and Nick went and then just got roasted on the left side. I don't understand why he doesn't have that instinct. Maybe because he's young.
But you got to also understand this is an assignment set defense.
Okay.
Right. And that's where I was going to go. Go ahead.
Okay.
Right. You got to understand that these guys have assignments. And when so that's why we've been okay against the run. Their main goal is to get to the quarterback, play the run on the way to the quarterback. So they have to go to the quarterback because that's what the assignment calls for.
Exactly. They're trusting in the linebackers to make the play on the run game.
Right. And going up against Arizona, Seattle, and then Arizona again, we've seen it in all 3 weeks, whether it's the player or the coaching, I'm not sure, because on those type of offenses, as a defensive end, your main job is go upfield 5 yards and keep containment. That's your job.
Got you.
Drive the outside tackle or whoever and go straight. And then you'll create those other holes on the backside of you, but the linebackers can fill those holes.
Gotta come and fill the holes. Got you.
Right. But we're not playing like that with these running quarterbacks, and that bothers me. And like I said, the other bad thing about it was alignments, the alignments of this defense, where we gave up bigger plays than we really need to, or we didn't get bit by them because the offense didn't see those. So those are some of the bads. And I got one more bad of the defense.
Well, including Kyler Murray's scrambles, we only gave up 135 rushing yards. It really wasn't as bad as we feel. But again, this goes back to what I was saying to y'all, where a 3-yard run against us feels like it was a 10 or 15-yard run. Because
but I mean, he had a 22-yard rushing touchdown.
That was bad. Yeah,
he had a 22-yard rushing touchdown.
He broke 3 tackles on the way to that. People were there. They just didn't make the tackle. Like, that's just bad tackling. You know what I mean? Like, the people were there. The assignments were done properly. They just didn't make the tackles. He broke 2 or 3 tackles to do that.
But that also goes back to what I've been saying about Fred Warner, dude. Fred Warner's angles have been horrible. Like, if you go and watch the second play of the game, the long run, Fred Warner scrapes so long before he actually goes and –
Warner had a decent game, though. He had some bad plays, but he had
There's still
we talk about the runs on
your player mistakes. That's all I'm saying. The bad angles are horrible for Fred Warner right now. He's making a lot of tackles and we're covering it up. This is exactly what I was talking about with if we win, we won't talk about the receivers. There are a lot of plays Fred Warner could make that he leaves on the field because of his angles.
So that's coaching?
No,
that's on the player.
Nah, because Fred Warner, no, I'm not gonna let you do my man like that. Fred Warner had a very solid game.
He did, but we still have to address the bad about him.
Are we talking about 2 plays?
We're talking about his angles all year. His angles in this game.
I'm talking about this game. I'm not talking about all year because I believe in improvement.
His angles were still bad this game. There were a lot of plays that he could have made that he didn't make. Kyler Murray touchdown was one of them. The 22-yard run was one of them. If we're going to talk about there was people there, we need to talk about the tackling. It's still bad.
That was a bad play. The defense just fell all over the place on that one. I got you on that one, but you making it sound like Fred was just wild all game. Like
watch the first long run with Kenyon Drake and watch Fred Warner. Then go back and watch some of the runs by Kenyon Drake and Kyler Murray and watch the angles with Fred Warner. There are plays that he could have made that he didn't because
Kenyon Drake didn't really have any long. He had a 12-yard run.
Who?
Kenyon Drake. He didn't have any long runs.
Not in this game, Nick.
12 yards is still, dude. I'm just saying, go look at the runs where he could have been stopped at 3 yards and got 12. Where he could have been stopped at 2 yards and got 6.
Fred Warner's not stopping anybody at 3 yards. That's not his assignment. He's not doing that.
Go watch the play. Go watch the plays with him. That's all I'm saying. Just study him for me, please. It's not that Fred Warner is a bad player. I just think that he can be that much better.
All right. Well, you need to work on his angles.
No, and that's fine. No, I don't think that he's perfect at all. And I have seen him take bad angles this year. So I do acknowledge that from this year. I think that the mistakes were kept to a minimum
Is Fred Warner playing a different linebacker position this year?
No, he's still
No?
Mike.
He's still the Mike.
playing Mike.
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe because he's used to the other compensation of the other linebackers with the speed or whatever. I'm not giving him an excuse, but
Just wondering what it could be, right? No,
I'm just wondering. I'm trying to figure it out.
I think what it is he holds his assignment, so he, instead of just going for it, like there's times where he can literally attack. He waits too long to where he had like his scrapes. He waits too long, which allows the runner to get long. Instead, I think he's thinking too much.
but it's the exact opposite when we talk about Dre Greenlaw, where Greenlaw would just snap, go, right? And we were like, he needs to wait a second and diagnose the play. Fred Warner's over-diagnosing. He's thinking and like, you get what I'm saying? So it's the exact opposite. These guys are doing the opposite of what the other guy is doing. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. Don't trust
and like I said, this isn't a down on Fred Warner. Fred Warner's a great middle linebacker. It's only his year 2. He's learning, and I understand that. But I'm just saying he could be that much better. Like, he really could. And there's a lot of guys on this team that could be that much better. But
I mean, everybody on the team could be that much better, Nick, if you think about it.
Right. No, absolutely.
I do want to address the Sherman penalties.
I think that goes in the ugly. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I think that goes
in an ugly situation.
Does it go in the ugly though? Because Sherman's usually not getting those calls, right? He's usually played the same type of defense he's played all year. He had one ugly one, and the other 2 could be bad. So 2 bads, I feel like they overweight the ugly. I feel like these are bad. You know what I'm saying? I personally felt, and I'm not saying this because I'm a all Sherman, guy. Two of those penalties didn't have to be called. I get the first one. The first one was ugly. First one he got beat. Don't know how he got beat, other than the fact that he might have. I felt like him too thought that there was somebody else over the top, and he stopped for a second.
You got to remember that's the play that Jimmy Ward got hurt on.
Nah, not that first one. No.
He couldn't throw the flag because
yes, and he had to go get his ankle retaped.
So Jimmy Ward might have got hurt on his way over the top.
Right, and I think I'm not making it as excuse, but I think that's what that slow step of Sherman, because Sherman usually plays the deep ball well. I'm not saying he keeps up with the guy. I'm saying he's able to cover and get to make a tip pass or something to make the ball do something different. That's Sherman's game. It's been his game his whole life. He's never been able to run with a freaking wide receiver foot speed for foot speed. He's always been able to close on the ball. That's his game. That one he got beat really bad, and it was just like, oh, Sherman, don't touch him, falling down. And I think even if he would have touched them falling down, it would have been fine. It's the fact that he kind of pushed the receiver,
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think he thought he had to over the top help and looked, but either way, Sherman's just slow. Sherman's game is studying film and knowing what quarterbacks do, and the way receivers run routes is what has made him so good.
I agree.
So, but either way, I mean, that was a bad call. It was a bad penalty, and I don't think the other 2.
No, it wasn't a bad call.
No. I'm saying a bad call on his part. Like,
right. That was his bad.
Deserved that shit. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Yeah, no.
I said that. I said that one he deserved. The other one in the end zone was weird because I know what the rule says, right? The rule says the ball's in the air. Either way, you guys told me that should have been a flag. It just shouldn't have been the pass interference one. It could have been the incidental contact or something by a defender or some junk like that, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
even the most blatant pass interference call on Richard Sherman still didn't end in a touchdown.
Right. It didn't.
They only got 3 off that.
No, but the second one they got a touchdown. They went up 10.
But I said the most blatant.
Yeah, but he had 2 of them. He had them in back-to-back series.
Yeah, but he's saying the one that was obviously pass interference didn't result in a touchdown.
Yeah, they got a field goal on it, but then he gave up one the following drive, and they got a touchdown off of that one.
Yeah.
Right, but I don't think that was a pass interference call.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I think the most.
I thought that was a clean play.
The one where he stopped in his tracks and the receiver ran into him frontwards. Yeah, I do.
I thought no, that's not what
in the air.
That's not what they called. They called that penalty because when the receiver was running, they made contact past the 5 yards.
He ran, yeah,
And the
because
ball was in the air.
Sherman went to break down, and the receiver ran directly into him. But because the ball was in the air, it became a pass interference call instead of an illegal touching or an illegal contact.
Right. Had the ball not been in the air and they made the contact, they might not have called it, or they might have called illegal contact,
which was just 5-yard penalty.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. The most blatantly pass interference call.
These refs were bad all night. That Kyle Juszczyk.
We get a better one.
Please tell the story of the last Richard Sherman penalty, because this shit has made me laugh.
What?
Come on, tell me the story about the ref after that last penalty. Come on.
No, it's not.
No, you gotta. No, it's so funny when you say it. I just automatically start cracking up, yo. So tell us what happened.
No, it wasn't the story. I don't know what happened to it. All I know is this. The ref got knocked out the game for a few minutes. He ain't throw no more flags. That particular ref didn't throw a single flag after that. Yo, I'm done.
Isn't he the actual guy who gave us the spot too for the first time?
And he's probably the same one that called that Debo joint a catch. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, yo, he's so
it was like Friday Night Lights, bro.
That cat was concussed.
You ain't gonna throw no more flags.
He got hit and was like, you know what? Never mind. I was just playing, yo. I was trying to get on TV for a few minutes. So,
yo, I laughed all day at work when you said that junk in the chat, yo, because that junk was so funny. That's why I asked. I was like, yo, Mike, did that ref ever come back into the game? He's like, he did. He just didn't call no more flags.
He didn't. He ain't throw nothing else, man. He didn't throw a single flag after that. But the officiating, all jokes aside, the officiating was bad that whole game. That pass interference call that Kyle Juszczyk got.
Oh, that was
garbage. I wanted the Niners to get that call, right? But that was a hard. Yo, the defender was legitimately in front of him, looking over his shoulder, reaching for the ball. Juice ran into the back of the defender, tripped him up.
That was OPI, guys.
Hell yeah, that was OPI, bro.
It was the same as the Richard Sherman DPI.
That's what I'm saying. Come on, man.
That's because they messed up that call. They had to give it back.
Yeah. But I mean, it wasn't only that. The Richburg penalties, the holding calls, horrible. I mean, look, I think the true.
Yeah, no, Richburg had two of them that were bullshit.
Was it one a touchdown?
Yeah, that was called back on Dwelly.
Dwelly's touchdown. Yeah,
I think the true call on holding is your feet have to stop and obviously be wrapped outside the numbers, right? But with him, the one call on that one, Weston Richburg was driving the guy and turning his body completely. I don't even think he had closed hands, but his feet were continually to move.
No, it's not about your feet moving, because you could hold a guy. If you get past me on your way to the quarterback and I'm behind you and I put my hands over you and running with you, that's still a holding. It's about where the ball carrier is in place of which way you're blocking them. Like I can't have my hand. My body can't be. How do I explain this? If the ball carrier is here going this way, my body can't be behind the ball carrier trying to prevent you from getting to him. So I can't put my arm in front of you and Jimmy Garoppolo's ahead of both of us and I'm trying to stop you. That's
right, but that's what I'm saying. He didn't do that.
Oh, no. They were BS calls for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, he may have held him just a little bit, but he also held him to turn him and then let go on that one penalty. And
what messed me up about those penalties was the one that wasn't called when DeMontre Moore was held and tackled and taken down to the ground. So and that's where I get confused. I don't know what the freak holding even is. I forgot.
I mean, look, holding calls, they happen in the NFL every single play.
I agree.
Especially inline. And Jimmy Garoppolo was 5 yards away from that play. If it doesn't have anything to do with the play and it doesn't, like, it just shouldn't be called. And it was just a phantom call. It really was.
Yeah, no, it was nonsense. It was absolute nonsense. I don't know what was going on at that point in the game.
Sometimes I feel like the refs got to fill quotas on flags, like police got to fill quotas on giving speed.
Yeah, and I'm
the first of the month, bro.
I'm going to say this now, and I know it's not the Packers game, but expect a lot of flags this next game. 1, the Packers get all the calls. 2, the officiating crew that's coming in this week, they average 14 flags a game, bro.
Yep.
So listen, it's gonna happen this week. Now, the reason I'm saying that now is because I gotta go. I want y'all fellas to finish strong, knock this out. But I do have to go. It's 11:30. I have to be up for work really early in the next 6 hours. So I gotta go shower and everything. But y'all rock out. Really quick. The rest of my bads for this game was the run game. No, that's ugly. I'm sorry. The run game is ugly. The run blocking is bad. I do think that there were some opportunities for Mostert and Tevin Coleman to hit some holes that they missed. But that's a little different. But the bad was the blocking. Goodwin is in my bad. He's not in the ugly because he did have one catch, but he missed another one. And I'm also compounding it with what he's done or hasn't done, I should say, in the last 4 weeks. Goodwin's in my bad for sure, right? I said I was sorry, guys. I'm sorry. All right. But he's in my bad. As far as defense, anybody else in my bad? Jimmy Ward, that injury scared the heck out of me because I was like, oh, here comes old Jimmy. We're suddenly losing, and here comes an injury, right? But then he got it taped up and he came back out there, and he got a sack later on. So shout out to my guy Jimmy. But I was worried about that. My ugly is going to be on the running backs. The running backs specifically carrying the ball as rushers. That was in the ugly. School had a good game. Lincoln Tomlinson had a good game. I'm trying to think of who else was in the ugly. What else was ugly about the 49ers off? I'm not going to say Jimmy Garoppolo's interception was ugly. That was bad. I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else in the ugly. The ugly is like, ooh, I can't believe you did that, right? There weren't that many times where we had that feeling in this game. I'm trying to think of anything else.
I think just going 3 and outs.
The offense, the whole first
half was ugly. We had like 2 yards, bro.
Nah.
Up until like
the Richie James play.
6 minutes, the offense was ugly.
I don't have that as my ugly at all. That was all strategy. Bro, I swear on everything. I told y'all this.
3 series is average, not almost an entire half.
It wasn't an entire. It was 2 drives that were ugly. 2 drives. That's it. But the 2 drives that the Cardinals had just happened to take up the entire first quarter. So it looked like, oh man, the Niners didn't do anything the whole first half. That's not true. It was the first quarter we had two offensive yards, but it was only 2 drives. So I told you guys, Shanahan's going to be setting stuff up in his first couple of drives. Those were my exact words. And then that's exactly what he did. Everything was to the right, and they were shutting it down. And they were happy. Oh, we got them figured out. George Kittle's not in. This is what they're going to do. We got them figured out. And then boom, he just exploded, started spreading stuff out all over the place. I don't think that's ugly. I think that's strategic. I think that's him using the opponent's strengths to their disadvantage. He's figuring out this is what they like to do. This is what they think we're going to do. We're going to keep feeding them those ideas, and we have to sell it. You have to sell certain things in order to make other things work later on. Because if you come out doing the stuff that you want to work, they're going to adapt to it early, and then you can't do it later. I think Shanahan was setting all that stuff up.
I'm a firm believer of the setup. I've been saying that all year. This offense doesn't move until the second or third series. But
yes, exactly. So how don't you? But the third series was in the second quarter, Nick.
Yeah, the third series was in the second quarter, which was a 4th down that we couldn't get.
What?
Yeah, we failed on the 4th and 1.
But the third series
failed on it.
We were in the second quarter. That's when we had two total offensive yards in the first quarter.
But that's what I'm saying. We didn't do anything offensively until there were 6 minutes left in the second quarter.
The second quarter.
That was our 4th possession.
Fifth
possession.
No, it was the 4th. It was the 4th. Bro, Seattle, listen to me. I promise you guys. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up.
I have it all right here. I have the play-by-play.
Their first drive, 4.5 minutes. Their second drive, 5 minutes. Their third drive, where's Arizona? All right, that one was 1 minute and 22 seconds. Their fourth drive was 5 minutes. So that means our fourth drive didn't come until – don't tell me how much time is left in the game. This was our fourth drive right here.
I'm gonna tell you right now. We punted it or kicked it off. They had it until 10:31 left in the first quarter. Then we had the ball, kicked it away at 9:19. They had it up until 3:59 in the first.
That's 2.
We punted it away at 2:43 in the first. Then we got the ball again to end the quarter with 1 minute and 13 seconds left. Quarter 2.
That's our third.
We still had the ball.
Yeah, that's our third series.
And we still had the ball.
Right. Then we gave the ball up at 14-10 in the second quarter.
And they got it back. Right. That's what I'm saying.
They got it.
And had it for 5 minutes.
We had the ball. We gave it up. We got a first down, which was Richie James with 9:03 left in the second quarter.
We scored on that fourth possession, bro. We scored on that. That was the Richie James drive. Richie James.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's our fourth drive, though.
Yeah, that's what I just said. I said it was the second quarter.
I thought it was the fifth. It's the fourth.
Yeah, that's all I was saying. It was we were setting stuff up with the first 2. The third one, yes, we did go for it on fourth down, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right? No. We punted it away. Didn't we punt it to them? Andy Lee punts.
Yeah, 65 yards. We punted it.
Yeah.
No, we kicked it. We kicked off after the touchdown.
No, before that. The drive before that. How did that drive end? We punted to them. It wasn't a fourth down. Y'all
punts 50 yards.
Y'all just tried to tell me that we went for it on fourth down on that third drive. No, we didn't.
Because we went for 4th and 1.
What drive? Never mind. We're getting sidetracked. Listen. All I'm saying is, it was a fun game. There was a lot of oh shoot. All right. Well, Nick, what you want to do?
What do you mean?
You see the messages?
Oh no, I was looking at something else.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, we can just finish this tomorrow.
All right.
Because I know Wayne's got to get up early. You got to get up early, so we did the good. We did most of the good tonight. We did a little bit of bad, but we'll finish the bad and the ugly tomorrow, and then we'll go into a breakdown tomorrow of the Green Bay game.
Perfect.
All right.
So let's do that, guys. Appreciate all of you guys joining us in here tonight. We've been an hour and a half. I only want to do an hour show, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Give us a follow on all of our social media avenues, Snapchat and Twitter, nothing but 9ERS, Facebook and Instagram. I'm telling you right now, go like our Facebook page. That's all I'm telling you. Just go like our Facebook page and keep your eyes peeled. As well as Instagram, Nothing But Niners. Check out our website, www.nothingbutniners.com. And if you want to send in any of our pictures for the fan page of any of your apparel that you're wearing, your vehicles, whatever it may be, that's the email, nb9ers@nothingbutniners.com. And that's pretty much it, man. Send us an email, questions, comments, concerns, whatever it may be. Also, if you're looking for a place to stay in New Orleans, you're going to that game, hit me up. I got details. I got some things for you guys, so hit me up. Anyway, nb9ers@nothingbutniners.com, and we will bring you another show tomorrow. Make sure you have that bell set for notifications. I am 49er Faithful 365 on Twitter. My man Wayne Breezy at 49ers Breezy. You can see it right there at the bottom of the screen. Mike at 49ers Mike _NFL. Those are all of our Twitter handles. Give us a follow over there. And that's pretty much all I got.
All right. Y'all heard him. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
Always
Remain faithful.